very bootcamp, which is actually hosted by um, GDSC and in collaboration with NAX. So for the first time for us, for most of us that might just be hearing GDSC for the first time. So GDSC is just more of like Google Developer Student Club, which is more of like a community based um, which comprises of groups of students who are interested in technology, like students that are very much interested in technology, especially technology from Google. So that's what GDSC, and they have local chapter at various institutions across the world. So that's what GDS is all about. And yeah, we have NAC with NAX. NAX is just like an association of cybersecurity students, just like an association of cybersecurity students. So I welcome you all to this bootcamp. And yeah, so let me try to share my screen. I believe you can all see my screen. All right, so this is going to be an interesting 8 week for everyone. So because I will be walking you guys through what you actually need to know about red teaming. Yes, you get to know what red teaming is all about at the end of this very session today. You get to know what red teaming is all about. So this is going to be an interesting 8 week for everyone joining. So for the week one, which is starting today, so we're dealing with introduction to cybersecurity, like okay, the definition of cybersecurity. Some of us might have know the definition of cybersecurity before. Some of us might just be coming across the word cybersecurity. So we're talking about the definition, the scope, and then the careers in cybersecurity. So because there are so many careers in cybersecurity, and also the domains in cybersecurity also. Then at the end of this week, we'll be dealing with how to install some of the tools that we'll be using or that is required for this very bootcamp. Yes, we've been installing the tools. Some of us have dropped some link that you can actually follow in the group chat. So, but during this week, I'll still drop more tools that we are going to be installing on our various system. So, when getting to week two, which will be starting by next week, then we learn what Linux is all about, because as a red team engineer or as an offensive as an offsec person, you need to understand what Linux is all about, what technology is behind Linux. So for me, it will be talking about the sudo overview, what sudo means in Linux. So navigating the file system, what file system is all about, viewing and editing files, so many interesting things that we'll be bringing out for the Linux fundamentals. Then in the week three, we're talking about the ethical hacking stages. So because you can't just get started with ethical hacking, there are some procedure you actually need to follow. So starting from the reconnaissance, scanning, vulnerability assessment, exploitation, then covering tracks. So we're talking about how you can actually know all of these, starting from the reconnaissance to covering tracks. Then in the week four, we'll be doing introduction to web hacking. Yes, because as an offset person, as a red team engineer, so you need to know what web is all about. So we're talking about introduction to web hacking. Then we talk about the web overview. What is even the web itself? So we'll be dealing with subdomain enumeration, then the authentication bypass, how you can actually bypass an authentication. We're talking about the XSS vulnerability. We're talking about the SQL injection, command injection, and XSE. And if time permits us, we'll be able to explore more. And if time doesn't, we can catch it up in some other bootcamp, because we are planning to host some other bootcamp. So then in the week five, we're talking about the privilege escalation this is actually applicable to Linux. So with the knowledge we have in Linux, we'll be able to do privilege escalation. So we have two major operating systems that is commonly among us, which is the Windows and also the Linux. So we'll be talking about both escalation on Windows and both escalation on and the escalation on Linux also. And then in the week 6 down to week 8, so we're doing some real life hacking. Yes, it's like we'll be doing some real life hacking on some of this platform, which is Try Hack Me, Hack the Boss, Proving Ground, and then Pound It Down, so that we can actually put all of these that we've learned so far, we can put them into practice. This is more of like a practical aspect of it. So how you can actually bypass and authentication. We'll be dealing everything on this platform, because this platform actually have some things you can actually use to practice your skills, like Jack, Me, Act the Boss, Proving Ground, Point. There are so many, but I actually choose these four because I found them more interesting. So let's get started. So I'll be sharing a presentation slide now. Sorry if I'm too fast, you can actually call my attention.
No issues, Tawhid. Well, I'm following. Tawhid,
All right,
sorry.
thank
Yeah.
you. So I have a screen here, like getting started with in cybersecurity. Yes, getting started in cybersecurity. How can you get started in cybersecurity? Then I have a quote by the side, by the left hand side, which is cybersecurity is much more than just what you know. At the end of the day, it's more about what you can actually do with what you know. Yes, it's because yeah, cybersecurity, like many people do ask me a lot of questions, like what is even cybersecurity, what are you guys even doing, like we don't know, we just see some blurry screens, and sometimes we just see some like something that is very strange to us. I say yes, cybersecurity is not just about hey, I can hack, because I know so many people that are doing well in this industry and they don't even know how to hack. Some of you might have come across them before. We have a very great person in this industry, and she's a female. I have like three females which are doing great in this industry, and they can't hack. That is why I said it is actually what you can do with what you know, because we have two actually parts for cybersecurity. We have the technical and the non-technical part. So I'll be talking about everything in this slide. So cybersecurity is not about yes, I know SQL injection. It's not about I know XSS. It's not about I can hack your Facebook. I can even cybersecurity is not even about hacking Facebook or hacking anything. We are not hacking in any in cybersecurity. We are not hacking. We are just trying to tell the organization that we are just trying to tell the world that okay, this is actually what you need for you to get secure from the bad guys. So that's what cybersecurity encompasses in general. So who am I? So yeah, some of you might have saw my description. Some of you on this call might know me. Some of you might just be seeing me for the first time. So I'm a penetration tester, and at the same time, I'm a CTF player, and I'm also a red team engineer. So I did penetration testing at Shosec and also a freelance as a penetration tester. And I do CTF at my leisure time. I just use CTF to practice my skills. So CTF is an acronym, so it means capture the flag. So it's more of like a cybersecurity competition. You know, like web developers, Android developers, like other developers, they normally have hackathon that they go to just shows their skills, to shows what they have. So this is actually applicable to the hackathon. The CTF is actually applicable to hackathon. Cybersecurity don't do hackathon, but we do what? We do CTF, capture the flag challenge. It's just more of like the group, like it's more of like a competition where you have to show your cybersecurity skills from from different domain, from web, reverse engineering, cryptography, blockchain, because every aspect of technology, cybersecurity actually is partaking in every aspect of technology. There is no part of technology that cybersecurity that is not needing cybersecurity. Every aspect needs cybersecurity. So that is why CTF will actually give you a broad insight on how each and every domain works. Like, okay, if you are not, you don't know about blockchain before, you can with CTF, with you playing CTF, maybe you come across a blockchain challenge, you might try to make some research, and from there you're actually learning about blockchain. So you are not a cryptography analyst, you come across a cryptography challenge in a CTF, you can actually use that to research more and you actually learn it. So you can use CTF to practice and then to learn and learn and learn more. And also your red team. Red team is just about more of like an attacker. So I'll actually explain what's red team in towards the end of this slide. So yeah, and I've make a vow to myself that I love to give back to the community because that is what I chose. I love to give out my knowledge. Knowledge is has to be shared. So I love to give back to the community. You can actually reach out to me on Twitter, you can see my Twitter handle here, and on LinkedIn. If you message me on my WhatsApp, I might not respond you on time, but if you message me on Twitter or LinkedIn, Twitter especially, I'll actually reply you faster. So let's get started to business. So for today, our discussion track will be cybersecurity, the beginner track. Like, okay, yeah, we are all beginning, so we are all beginners. So the beginner track will be discussed, and also the certification. Yes, cybersecurity is about certification. You can't just walk into an organization now and tell them that you are a cybersecurity enthusiast, you're a cybersecurity engineer. They will just look at you and they will just ask you, where is your certification? Because they believe with certification you actually know what you are doing. So cybersecurity just is more of like certification, because this certification I'm talking about is not a degree you have in school, but these are practical based examination that you can do. So there are criteria for you to pass this exam, and each every organization believe that for you to have passed this very knows shows that you actually know what you're doing. And we're talking about the careers in cybersecurity in general. So yeah, definition of cybersecurity. So I have a definition here which says that cybersecurity can be defined as defending of all digital and internet aware devices or infrastructure business organization to personal device from malicious threat attacks. So yes, cybersecurity is just defending all digital assets. What I mean by digital assets is we have laptops. Some of us is joining this call with our laptops. Some of us are joining with our mobile phones. Some of us are joining with our tab. Some of us are I don't know. We have different device. Even we are some of us on this call, some of us are using our earpiece. So you can get hack also through your earpiece. So cybersecurity is just the protection for all these digital assets. What I mean, even not digital assets only, electronic assets that can be able to that can access the internet. So once you are on the internet, just know that you need to be very vigilant because there are so many things happening on the internet. So if you have a cybersecurity knowledge, you know that okay, this is what I supposed to do. This is what I supposed to do when I'm on the internet. This is what I supposed to. Okay, let me just demarcate myself from this. I don't need to do this when I'm on the internet when I'm connected to the internet. So and also it is not only when connected to the internet you can get hacked. You can also get hacked on offline, like when you are not connected to the internet. But that will not be the discussion for today. To be a discussion for other time because we are just getting started. So let's just have that at the back of our mind. That for now that cybersecurity is a protection for all digital and electronic assets that can be connected to the internet. So we have domains of cybersecurity, then the skill sets. Like, okay, what kind of skills do you need? What kind of skills is required for you to get started in cybersecurity. Then the learning platform, like okay, which platform can I actually learn from, or what can actually boost my knowledge. So I'll be talking about that. Let me go to the next slide. So we have domains in cybersecurity. So domains in cybersecurity is actually divided into two. We have the technical part, and then we have the non-technical part. So let's just discuss about the non-technical part. But let's have it at the back of our mind. This bootcamp is focusing on the technical part of cybersecurity. So we have the non-technical part of cybersecurity. So these are the common domains in non-technical part of the cybersecurity. We have the governance, we have the risk and the compliance, which is called GRC. So these particular people which are studying, like you can decide to say that, okay, yes, I want to study GRC. GRC is also part of cybersecurity. This category set of people, they'll be the ones to tell organization that, okay, you have a website, you have a product. Now, these are possible attacks for your product. These are possible business logic vulnerability that can affect your organization. So these are the people that works together. They frameworks, they create protocols that each and every staff in an organization follows. So this, like, whenever a staff violates these protocols or this framework that has been provided by the GRC team, there is a penalty for that. So this GRC will be the one to be guiding every organization that, okay, let's assume that we have let me use BUK as an example. Let me use Faculty of Computing. Faculty of Computing, we have Department of Cybersecurity, Department of Information Technology, Department of Software Engineering. We have four departments. So the GRC, let's just assume that Faculty of Computing is a very big organization that we are working in. There are people that are working in Faculty of Computing. There are people. So the GRC team will be the one that will tell them that, okay, whatever you are doing in Department of Cybersecurity must not be reviewed until there is an authorization from above that you should reveal it to the other departments. So they will be the one. So whenever there is a leakage of an information, it is the GLC team that will take action on that very staff that make the leak of that very information of or the data. So the GLC actually controls most organization. So we have the documentation and policy. So documentation and policy is actually similar to GRC, but in another dimension. These people only write documents. They might not work in an organization actually. They might not work in an organization, but they actually tell the organization that, okay, these are the rules that you need to follow. These are the things that you need to follow. These are the things that you not need to follow. So once they write the documentation and everything, they'll send it out to you, to the organization, and they might not work with the organization. They'll just write the document, they will just write the policy that every organization needs to follow and need to put into practice. Then they'll send it to them. The organization will read it if they are satisfied with it. So it's just more of like a contract-based domain. Yeah, so we are now moving to the technical domains. So in the technical domain, we have the incident response and forensics analysis. Let's say for example, there is a crime scene somewhere else. Now I'm not talking about cybersecurity in this instance. I just want to relate what I'm saying now to cybersecurity with incident response. So let's just say there is a robbery attack now. When there is a robbery attack, there is an emergency team from the security operations that actually goes out to actually assess what is going on in that very location where they got the information of the robbery attack. So when they got there, they need to do some analysis that, okay, what actually happened. Okay, they need to interview some people. Okay, what happened here? Okay, this. So those are the things that they can use to gather some information and know the source of the robbery attack. So that is also applicable to cybersecurity, and this is exactly how it happens also in cybersecurity. But in cybersecurity instances, it's happening virtual, is happening on the internet, not the physical one. So let's just say, for example, there is a cyber attack in an organization. So an organization got hacked. So this incident response and forensics analyst will be the one to actually identify, like analyze, okay, when did the attack happen? Who, when did the attack happen? How long does the attack take before the organization get to recover it? And also they will be the one to actually help the organization to recover the attack. Okay, after they know, okay, what happened, who actually committed the attack, from where, which device they used to commit this attack. So these are the work of incident responder or incident response and forensics analyst. They analyze the attack that has been they analyze an attack that's happened to an organization, and they give reports, and they also help the organization to prevent against such attack in the future, so that when they actually, let's say for example, an organization got an SQL injection attack, so they already know that, okay, this is an SQL injection. So they will tell them that, okay, this attack was an SQL injection, and it happens on so server, and they will send the report to the technical to the developers team. So when they send the report to the developer team, so the developer will actually know what they are doing. So and that's basically what incident response and forensics analysts do. So detect what an attacker did. You can see the definition I have. They can detect what an attacker did and how they did it. So the incident response is more of like um how would I, okay, it's more of like an EFCC in Nigeria. So that's basically the work of incident response. So we have the security operation. So the security operation is where the we have lots of domains in cybersecurity. In this domain, we have the penetration testing. They implement they implement designs, monitor and maintains these functionalities. So the security operation actually knows what is going on. Like they know what is going on. They know, okay, before we got an attack, they will be the one to be like, for an attack to happen, like they will be the ones to first of all try to attack their system that they've built. They'll be the one to try to attack, try to find a way to exploit it. So there are many domains there. We have the penetration tester, we have the red team, we have we have so many. We have the threat intelligence, we have threat hunting, we have threat intelligence. There are so many. Okay. So we have the penetration tester. Is more of the most prominent operation within this domain. So the work of penetration tester is after um you actually build your reports. You've actually build your product, you build your application, be it a mobile application, be it a desktop application, be it a web application. So the penetration tester will try to exploit it. Maybe they can actually find a vulnerability. They will try to attack the system that was built. So once they were able to find an exploit, they will send it to the developers team. So the developers team can be able to attack to patch that vulnerability. And let us take note, penetration testers, they are not developer. They are not the one that patches system. Their own is just to find a way to exploit it. So once they were able to exploit it, they will send it to the developers team. So the developers team will take an action on how to patch it. So we have other technical domains. So other technical domains is the software development security. We have the secure DevOps. So if you are a DevOps engineer, you can actually choose the security part of it. Like, okay, if you actually add cybersecurity with any other domains you are doing, like, okay, let me just put it this way. You are a cybersecurity, and then you went ahead to go and learn backend engineer. So I can call these people um software development security. So since you already have the knowledge of cybersecurity, it will be very easy for you to build a very secure product, or to build a very secure yes, product, to build a very secure product. It's very, very easy for you. That is why we have secure DevOps. If you are a cybersecurity enthusiast and you venture into DevOps, which more of like a cloud. So it will be very easy for you to secure the servers and the infrastructure very well. And then we have the secure software development there. Also, this is more of like what I just explained now, like secure software development. So they build a secure like they are actually the one that build the firewall that helps us to prevent against some kind of attacks. They are the one that build product like Sims. They are the one that build product like IDS and IPS. So we have the secure development, software development. So, and then other domains that we need to actually make mention is the access control or identity management. We have the telecommunication and network security. We have the data loss and prevention. We have the cryptography, and then we have the business continuity and disaster recovery planning. There are so many domains in cybersecurity, but let's pick it from the access control. So access control, but let me just put it this way. Um, you see all of these domains that I actually made mention here, right? So as a penetration tester or as a incident forensics analyst, you you can have a proper understanding of access control, because as a forensics analyst you need to know, okay, this is kind of the people that we want for them to access this very data. This is the people that we don't want them to access this very data. So the access control and identity management are the one that control the authentication and authorization of every organization. So what I mean by authentication is, let's say for example, you log into a website, and after you log into a website, you that is authentication. When you log into a website, the website will actually authenticate you. Then after you authenticate, that is where authorization comes in. So for you to get authorized, let's say for example, it um is a shopping website. So after in which the website has actually authenticate you. So when you get to your dashboard, you have some, like you have um like I don't know, maybe Jumia does that. So when you log into some kind of you can actually credit or fund that very your very account on that website. So once you fund your account, that is authorization. Authorization is just telling you that, okay, you have access to this product. You shouldn't have access to this product. Let's say your limit on that platform is just a sum of 5,000 naira. So you shouldn't be seeing, authorization is just for you, that you shouldn't be seeing something less than 5,000 naira or something above 5,000 naira after you've been authenticated. So once you authenticate and you were able to manipulate those kind of things, that is, you actually breach the authorization of the organization. So coming to like a real organization now. So let's say for example, you are in same department, but your work only is just for you to just send documents across, or your work is actually meant for you to just review documents. So there are some certain documents that you shouldn't be able to see as you are actually even reviewing or sending out documents or taking in documents. There are some documents. So if you are able to see those documents, so and you are not authorized to see it, the authorization has actually been breached. So the access control and identity management are the one that actually made control of that. Okay, these very people should only have access to this infrastructure. So the very category set of people shouldn't have access to it. Let's say for example, they also help them to they also help as access control and identity management also help organization to um help their staff to know what they have access to. Let's say, for example, in an organization where they have a Wi-Fi, identity management will be the one to set up. Okay, the each staff must not have access to any other website rather than this very. Once we're able to access that other Wi-Fi, other website with the infrastructure Wi-Fi, you've actually breached the access control of the organization. Then we have the telecommunication and network security. So these ones are are the security enforcement that actually works with all these service provider, yes, service provider. So they are the one that. Then we have the data loss prevention. This is more of combining data science and cybersecurity together. So any loss of data that has been lost, so they will be the one to get, okay, this is the amount of data that was lost, this is the amount of data we were able to recover. Then they should be able to analyze everything together and give a report to the stakeholders. Then we have the cryptography. The cryptography is just more of like mathematics, so more of like encryption and decryption, but cryptography is more than encryption and the decryption. And then we have the business continuity and disaster recovery planning. It's even similar to this data loss prevention. So talking about the skills that is being required for you as a cybersecurity enthusiast. So let me just, like, the skills that is being required for you in this program, in this boot camp, I listed out five. These are the five core skills. I'll be adding one more. I'll be adding one more. I forgot to add it. And the reason why I'm adding one more is I'll tell you later in this call. So we have five. We have I listed five, but I will add one more, which will make it six. So one of them is system internal administration. The second one is computer networking. Third one is virtualization. Fourth is Google search and OSINT. And then fifth is personal digital security. So because our focus for this boot camp will be more of red teaming and penetration testing. So it will be more of red teaming and penetration testing. So as a penetration tester or red team, or even any technical part of cybersecurity, you need these six scores, skills. So the sixth one that I'll be adding will be programming. Yes, we need programming. Don't let them deceive you that you don't need, as a cybersecurity guy, you don't need programming. If you are coming towards the technical part of cybersecurity, guys, we need programming. That one is, we need programming. People should start campaigning for that. Like, okay, yes, tell them they need programming, because actually I just finished playing a CTF, and this is some of the challenge requires you to rewrite a code so that you can be able to get some flag. And if you don't have programming knowledge, you won't be able to do that. So we need programming. But what kind of programming language do you need? Like I said, for okay, let me just get there before I start explaining that. So we have the system internals, and the first one is system internals and then the administration. You need to have fundamental overview of how various operating system works, mostly Linux. As the cybersecurity coming to the technical part, you need Linux. You need to understand Linux. You'll be working with Linux throughout your entire life. You need Linux. So you need to understand, okay, what kind of concept, how was Linux built, what are the file system of Linux. Also, likewise, Windows. Also, you need to understand both, because these are the most common operating system we know. So you need to understand the Linux and the Windows operating system. And what I mean when I mean the Windows operating system, most of us might have been familiar with Windows operating system, but what I mean with the Windows operating system is the PowerShell. You need to understand the PowerShell, and don't worry, I will show you some how to use the PowerShell and also how to use the Linux together in this very bootcamp. So the architecture, the kernel, the roots and everything, you need to understand the concept. Then you should learn how to be comfortable with any of them and their command line. Like Windows is CMD, Windows use CMD and PowerShell. So this you should know, you should have proper understanding of how to use CMD, because most of the hacking tools are not GUI. They are not, you can't see them on the graphical interface. you only see them on the terminal. So you need to understand the command line like CMD, PowerShell, the bash. Bash is for Linux, and Z shell is also for Linux. And we also have so many shell for Linux. We have fish shell, we have born again shell. Okay, this is bash is born again shell. We have so many shell, but once you are familiar with the bash and Z shell, it's actually okay for you. And also the CMD and also the PowerShell. So then the next one is learn how to maintain and configure device with high power server. Like you need to know understand how servers are being configured, the server's configuration. Okay, this is how I can actually set up my own server. This is because for you to have for you, if you have proper understanding of how server have been configured, it will make your penetration testing work very easy, because you already have, okay, this is actually how the server is working. This is a Windows server, this is a Linux server. Okay, inside this server we have another server. Okay, there is there is another server inside another server, like multiple server in a single server. Then the fundamental of computing devices. Yes, you need to understand, and I believe everybody else already have these skills already, fundamental of computing devices. And then you utilize of guidelines and manuals. Yes, you need to understand how to read manuals, because there are some errors that you will encounter in cybersecurity, or if you are working as a penetration tester or as a red team engineer. There are some error that you encounter that any other person might have not encountered that error before. Like one of my guys even just messaged me this morning that since on Saturday he has been facing one error on his Parrot OS, but he was able to fix it today. He need to go back to read the manual of the tools is trying to install for him to get. So you need to understand how to read manuals and documentation. So that's for the system internal and administration. So computer networking. Yeah, but there are some controversy on this aspect that networking is required. There are some people that would even tell you that networking is not required. Whether networking is required or networking is not required. My own is, for you to hack a device or for you to attack a device, you need a device that will need to connect to that device. And connecting that your device to that device is what is networking. So that is the reason why we need networking as a cybersecurity. This is out of all having strong foundation of networking tools, how devices actually interact with each other. So let's say, for example, you can actually tell, okay, we are on this call now. um there is something, networking is the one that is making it very easy for me to share my screen for you guys to see it. Networking is actually the one that is making it for me to be speaking and you guys to be hearing it. So there are some protocols that is actually happening beneath that we need to understand. One of the protocol that is actually happening beneath on this call is the UDP, user datagram protocol, is actually happening on this call. So if you don't understand these all these protocols and network how they communicate to each other, so you will just be looking at the computer also will be looking at you. You won't be able to perform anything. But if you know that, okay, for this system, for me to connect to this system, I need this protocol. For me to connect to this system, I need this protocol. So it will give you more insight on how to actually perform your work very well. So, and again, deep understanding of the communication models like the TCP and the IP, and then the OSI model, open system interconnectivity or interconnection. So we have the TCP and IP is more it is 4 parts, while the OSI model is 7 parts. We have the application layer, we have the session layer, we have the transport layer, we have the network layer, we have the data link, we have the physical layer. I think I missed one. I guess I missed one. Application, session, network, data link, and physical layer. I guess I still missed one, right? But I'll show you guys in the next class, because the next class we'll be talking about networking. So the OSI model and the TCP and the IP. So you need to understand these models. If you understand this model, believe me, you already understand the networking. Yes, the third one, the third skills that is being required is the virtualization. You need to understand what virtualization is all about. So we've actually been getting started with what virtualization is actually about, with me telling you to install. So for you understanding of virtual instances of a computer in a layer abstracted from the actual hardware. So will you creating now? I have virtual machine on my system, which actually I am having multiple operating system on my system. For me to have that, you need to understand how you can actually have virtual instance of your computer in your own system. Also, you need to understand. Okay, this is how VM works. This is how I can actually create my own instances of a virtual machine, and it is not limited to any operating system. You can have Mac OS. If you are not using Mac OS and you are using a just a Windows laptop, you can actually have Mac OS installed on your own laptop also through the what through virtual machine. And also, if you are using a Mac, you can have also have the privilege to use Windows, which is through the process of virtualization. Yes, Google Search and OSINT. This is very, very essential. Make Google your friend. Google should be our best friend, irrespective of anywhere you're going. Be you a back-end engineer, front-end engineer, DevOps engineer, any domain you are coming from in tech, you need, because Google should be our number one priority. If you encounter any error, before you ask anyone else, make sure that you first ask Google, because Google always has the answer. So you need to understand how to solve the internet.
Give me one water. One. Give me one.
So what was that? Can you unmute yourself? Can you mute yourself? Sorry.
Kai kana zaune kana barin yara suna wani. How much do you want, sir? How much do you cook?
So what was that?
Let's move your phone.
Abi? Cook is how much? 200. Then give me that. I've given him 200 already.
We should actually make Google our best friend. Google should be our number one friend. Yes, Google should be our number one friend. So and OSINT is just usually in which you can actually use to get any information on the internet. Then personal digital security, then implementation, get acquainted, practice. So personal digital, like your own digital, you need to be like your own. You need to make cybersecurity your own personal hygiene. Like they say, charity begins at home. So you need to actually be practicing cybersecurity from your own, from your let people know that yes, you are cybersecurity oriented. Not that you'll be practicing by cybersecurity and people will not know. Let people know. Let's create this awareness. People need to be aware that yes, they need to be. It's like cybersecurity should be our daily routine, things that we do on a normal basis, on a daily basis. So that's what cybersecurity should be for everyone. So you need to be cybersecurity into practice. You need to practice and practice and practice every day. And the last one, which I said I'll be discussing, is the what? Is the programming. Yeah, the programming part is not essentially you should know all programming, but Python and Bash script is enough for cybersecurity. If you actually understand Python to the core or Bash scripts to the core, yeah, I can actually see yes, you should have some sorry, you should have some levels in cybersecurity, like have some stand. You should be able to stand on your own. So programming is very, very essential. Just choose one, but I will advise everyone to choose Python. But programming language is out of scope of this bootcamp. We might have another bootcamp where we can just talk about programming languages only, but you need to understand if you come in some you might be doing some penetration testing and you come across some source code and everything, you won't know what you do about it. So if you have proper understanding of cyber like programming, you'll be able to know that okay, this is actually what is happening here. To even give you more insight on for you to actually exploit it. Learning platform where you can actually use to learn cybersecurity is there are some online cheap courses platform like can actually learn cybersecurity on Udemy. And then the platform which I made mention that will be routing, like will be down from week 6 to week 8. We have platform like Act the Boss, Try At Me, Punt It Down, Proving Ground. So I actually choose those 4 platforms. So the blog platform you can actually learn cybersecurity for free and they are online. So you can actually learn cybersecurity for free from those platforms. And then the cybersecurity CTF, capture the flag. It is very, very essential. Like some of my colleagues, they'll say, what cyber CTF is not real. CTF is not real. I accept. But we have this conversation in my group, in my WhatsApp group, like within my colleagues. They say, "What are you even playing CTF? CTF that is not real. They've already made CTF more vulnerable. You will definitely know. You will definitely exploit it." And I said, "Yes, CTF is not exploit. It's they make it vulnerable. Yeah, it's not real." Then for like some days back, then a PDF was actually to our group. And when this PDF was actually dropped to the group, and yeah, they assigned some lecturer to some students. They now put the lecturer name. They didn't put the full name of the lecturer. They just put their acronyms like AIL, AAU, ASA, and the guy and many people were now asking that who is ASA, who is AAL, and I told them that had it been you have CTF you have CTF ideas, you should be able to decode. This is just a simple thing because the names of the lecturer that has been assigned to each student is at the bottom of this PDF. Just check the first name or like the first letter of the lecturer's name, and you can actually use it to decode it. So you can actually practice, put CTF to your own normal practice, like replace CTF a lot because CTF is actually testing your skills, testing your mental ability, how fast you can think outside the box. So CTF is very, don't let everybody deceive you. CTF is very, 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 very good. And then the cool thing about CTF is a competition. You can win prizes, you can win money, you can win certification. My 2 certification that I got so far it was through CTF. The first certification was EJPT, and I wrote the examination. I passed, and the certification worth over $400. Imagine me winning $400 in a CTF. I was able to write the exam and I passed. And the second one, which is the OSCP, which I'm actually practically like I'm preparing for. So the OSCP cost over $1,000, and I won it in a CTF challenge. That's one cool thing about CTF. So you can win money from CTF. You can win certification that you don't even have the money to. Like even though you have the money, you always even think twice that "Oh, before I use this money to go for the certification, let me use the money to go and do some other thing else." So, but with certification, with CTF, you can actually win all the certification. Then the third thing is virtualization platform, more like VMware that I actually asked you to install your Kali Linux on. And also we have the VirtualBox, we have the Oracle, we have so many, and then we have the Google Doc. So this Google Doc will actually tells you how you can Google, how you can use the Google very well, and then the OSINT intelligence framework. So we're talking we're emphasizing more on this Google Doc cheat sheet and then the OSINT intelligence framework. So this platform, you can see we have Triac Me. I'll share all the platform in the group, but most especially Triac Me. I will urge everybody to get to register. on Triacme. Then we have Cyber Talent, we have Blue Team Labs, we have Actails, we have the DEFCON. So DEFCON, some of us might have heard about DEFCON. So DEFCON is more of like an annual cybersecurity conference. It is actually hosted in the US, but nowadays they are now transferring it to more other countries. Like last year, I think it was still used in US, but they've actually hosted it in Turkey before. They've actually hosted it in some other country like that before. But DEFCON is a very large conference, very large conference that is being hosted annually. So they also have their the challenges is DEFCON is they place it here also in DEFCON. So DEFCON you can actually have access to all the previous challenges on DEFCON on this very platform. Then we have the Cyber Investigator CTF. So this is a Nigeria based cyber SOC. Is a Nigeria based website where you can actually see some cool CTF for you to get started. So some virtualization platform. So VMware, actually VMware is paid, but for those of you that have installed it, let me know the year that you've installed so I can actually give you the key in which you can use to for the product key. Then we have the Oracle VirtualBox. VirtualBox is actually free. Then we have the Microsoft Hyper-V, we have the Zen app, and then the Zen desktop. We have the Amazon. Amazon, this is more of like a server based. The Amazon is more like a server based. Then we have the Google cheat sheet. So if you go to this website, I'm going to share it to you guys. So if you go to this website, you will see how you can actually use Google to get any information you are looking for. And also this OSINT framework, you can actually use this OSINT framework to get anybody hidden on the internet. If someone is on the internet, even though they claim to be anonymous, with OSINT, you can actually fish out the person. And then this virus total. Virus total is just one for you, like, okay, let me just give you what virus total is all about. Virus total helps you to detect malware in a file or on a website. Let's say, for example, one of your friend actually send a message to you that UBA is giving out so many, and so they are doing some giveaway. So before you click on that link, you can just go to virustotal.com, copy the link that your friends actually sent to you, paste it on Virus Total. Virus Total will help you to analyze that this is a phishing website. If it is a legit website, Virus Total will tell you that this is a legit website. Then the URScan.io. The URScan.io is very powerful website for penetration tester. It makes works easier for penetration tester, but we get to know that very soon because we'll be working with URL scan.io. But even normal person, you should, even though you are not cybersecurity person, you should know Virus Total. Like Virus Total should be a website that everybody should know because it helps you to analyze. Even you can actually, or even if it is a document that your guy sent to you, before you open the document, you can drag and upload it on Virus Total. So Virus Total will tell you if this very PDF or images contains a phishing or a malicious code. So we have certification, some entry level certification. So we have the CompTIA Security Plus, we have the SSCP, we have the CompTIA CYSA Plus, we have the GAIC Security Essential. Then we have, these are platforms. This CompTIA is a platform that gives cybersecurity. This CompTIA Plus, it's actually also a platform that gives cybersecurity, that offers cybersecurity certification. You pay them and they will give you access to write the exam once you pass. And this exam is actually different from the exam you do in school that you just cram and go and write the exam. No, you can't just cram and go and write this certification. You need to know what you are doing. If you don't know what you are doing, you won't pass. You need to understand if you know what you are doing. That's why I said earlier that you can't just walk to an organization and tell them that yes, you can do this inside. They won't believe you. But if you show them that yes, I have the certification, they will actually believe that for you to have this certification shows that you know it. Because before any organization would issue you any certificate, they will have tested you to the core. So we have the EC Council. We are like CA certified ethical hacker, but I won't advise you to go for this certificate because the certificate is actually outdated now. Then we have the CompTIA Penetration Plus. Then we have the EJPT. So as a beginner, after this call, if you have the money, after this bootcamp, if you have the money, I can advise you to go for this EJPT. It's just more of like I think it's now $200. So EJPT is very nice certification for beginners. And then the OSCP, which is the security um offensive security. So it is actually issued by Kali Linux. So Kali Linux are the one that actually issue this OSCP, and I'm actually practicing for my preparing for mine also, and I won the voucher in the CTF. So we have the careers. So we have the cybersecurity analyst, we have the penetration tester, we have the cybersecurity intelligence analyst, we have the computer forensics analyst, we have the security consultant. So security consultant is more of like a GLC, and then we have the security software developers. So these are the ones that I told you they develop the IDS, IPS that people use on their server and everything or on their infrastructure. All right, so we've come to the end of today, and I would like to tell you once again that cybersecurity is more than what you just know. At the end of the day, it is more about what you can actually do with what you know. So thank you guys for joining. So if you have any question, you can ask your question now.
Thanks, Tahib. It's a lot of information.